Today's video is about Claude Monet. Claude Monet was born in Paris in 1840. He loved to draw as a child, and he became known in his teenage years for drawing these caricatures of his teachers, his friends. He would even sell caricatures on the beach near his home. When he first started painting professionally, his paintings were actually kind of dark and muted colors, kind of like Van Gogh. But what he became known for were these really vibrant paintings with bright colors. He was trying to capture the light of the scene that he was painting. Part of what enabled him to do this was the fact that now, in the late 1800s, you could buy tubes of paint at the store. Prior to this, you would have to mix up your own paint, and it was very difficult to come up with vibrant colors. But now you could just purchase them. The other thing that this allowed you to do was paint outdoors. You no longer had to be in a studio with all of your mixing agents and stuff. You could now just take your set of oil paints out into the field and paint from life. And this is the other thing that Monet was known for. He would often paint his scenes outdoors to really capture what the light and shadows actually looked like in the scene that he was painting. And so in being outdoors, you see that a lot of Monet's paintings are landscapes and seascapes. He was known for trying to capture the light of a scene at different times of day. So oftentimes you see him painting the same subject over and over again, different times of day, different seasons of the year. And another scene that you see over and over again is this portrayal of reflection and light. And he keeps painting this over and over. He's trying to capture it the way that his eyes do. But he was often very frustrated by this because it's so hard to capture light. Everything's moving, the trees are moving, the clouds are moving, the sun might be setting, the light color might be changing. And so he was kind of obsessed with just paint scenes over and over and over again to try to capture it like a moment. Imagine a sunset or a sunrise. Like, the beauty of that does not last very long. It's very fleeting. It lasts only a few seconds or minutes. Nowadays, we'd just grab our cell phone and take a quick picture of it and post it to Facebook. At the time, though, Monet didn't really have the use of a camera. He had to capture this with paint. So he would paint very rapidly, and you can kind of see that in this painting, which is one of his first Impressionist paintings, called Impression of a Sunrise. When he was younger, he would travel to distant lands, far off places to make these paintings. He painted from cliffs, on top of hills, in wind, in rain. This was painted while he was floating in a boat. As Monet grew older, though, he didn't really have travel as an option. Travel was very difficult in the 1800s. I mean, you did have some trains, but mostly it was walking or traveling by horse and cart or something like that. So Monet started to build this elaborate garden in his backyard, full of all the things that he loved to paint. The water lily paintings that he came to be known for were all painted in his garden. This is the famous Japanese bridge, which some think he was influenced by artwork from Japan and built this bridge to kind of model some of these Japanese scenes that he had seen on prints from Japan. It should be noted that Monet's garden is a real place, and people can go there and tour it today. They've turned it into a museum. Gardeners looked at Monet's detailed drawings and plans that he had for his garden, and so they were able to restore it to look exactly how it looked in the 1920s when Monet lived there. Now you can walk through the garden and tour his home where he used to live. It would be a very fun place to go someday, I think. So we're going to do some Impressionist painting today of some water lilies. All you need are some crayons, and if you don't have a set of watercolors lying around, you can even use some blue food coloring to get your water. I'll do a quick demo for you. Start out with a clean piece of paper and try to get a few different shades of green, maybe a yellow, crayon to make your lily pads. Start by drawing your lily pads in the foreground. Remember, they're in the foreground, they're closer to you, so they're going to be larger. Usually I try to draw them like little sideways ovals, so it looks like they're kind of laying down. You're not floating above them in space. For the middle ground, draw some lily pads that are a little bit smaller than the ones that were in your foreground. And your lily pads that are in the background are going to be really, really tiny. When you shade these in, use lots of different shades of green and yellow to kind of make it look like the light is playing or bouncing off the lily pad. And lastly, you can throw in some water lilies, which could be any number of colors.